Pew, pew, pew. Hey, there he is.
There he is, the noob.
Yeah, it's me.
The noob with the sunglasses. I love it.
I like the last episode. I wanted to make sure folks would recognize me because of the image.
Yeah, it's going to be super confusing, especially with these new sweet accessories.
I was going to say, Coin Master J, it's a new look for you.
Well, yeah, Coin Master J is also my DJ name.
You just came from her.
So this, a lot of times.
I got you. We'll have to redraw that image up there and have those.
Yeah. Have you seen my baseball? I probably shouldn't do that.
That's because there's some noise going on over there. Is it construction or?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's going on?
Yeah, so during the test, testing, my microphone just constant feedback, worse than probably anything anybody heard on the second episode. So it's probably time to at least try this. How's the audio? Like, can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I hear you perfect.
Voice is clear?
Yep, loud and clear.
So it's almost like that microphone was a waste of money.
It looks good.
It does. Good. You look professional.
Yeah, maybe what you could do is you could have yours and just have it unplugged and just.
That's a good idea. Hold on. Let's bring it up. Both.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're back.
Perfect.
I look super professional now.
I like it. That's what you look. You're gonna start a trend.
Yeah. All right. So welcome back, everybody. Pump Your Coin, episode 3, your channel to have your very first look at ultra low cap coins and the project creators that create them. So sit back, buckle in, and we're gonna start another episode of Adam Asks. Oh, wow. Look at that. Technical problem. Well, I'm getting a little feedback now. You?
Nope. No.
Okay, good. Well, at least we came off mute. The intro ran well. Like we're resolving technical problems. I got some insight from some of our viewers. They gave me some feedback and some things to try. So slowly implementing those things. Are you pretty happy with the fixed actions we've had so far?
Yeah. I think it's we're moving along pretty well. We've got nicknames now. We've got you with your new look with the headphones.
That's it.
I've got my sunglasses now. I mean, we're ready to just to go viral, really.
Yeah, it's prime time for sure. I think we did go up by a subscriber last show, so that was pretty cool. I was amazed, surprised, impressed. Lots of good feedback. Hey, and speaking of feedback, we did have some comments on the last episode. And so, like we said, each episode, anybody who comments on the episode will have an opportunity to be entered into the drawing. And so with the few comments that we were scraping through and trying to, we had a few people who were already winners. Lanny, who was a winner in the first, after the first episode, had another comment in there. So we greatly appreciate that. He actually commented on the boop.
Subscribe.
Boop. Yep. Boop. Like. And don't forget to comment if you guys want to be entered into the first look giveaway. And so the next person that will be entered in is going to be Josh Hicks. So Josh, congratulations. You are in the running now to win the first look giveaway. So congratulations, and we'll be reaching out. We're keeping touch of everything, and as the bags grow, we will continue to update you. I did run into some technical issues. However, I have the exact time and date to put the $50 worth of DragonChain in there. I actually had some wallet issues, and so I have to delete and reinstall the app for my software wallet. I know that probably doesn't make sense to you just yet, Adam, but
No.
Each time you do those, it's a little bit scary. There's always, this is it's an emerging technology, and there are still, times where you just have to put your faith in it a little bit and hope that that stuff shows back up.
Yeah.
Some serious fingers crossed. So that dragon coin will be in there. It will be added to the existing MFT, the Hi-Fi Finance, which has gone up. And so next episode, we'll give everybody kind of an update on what we add from this show. I had a few recommendations. Victor from Orlando actually commented and said he'd like to see Safe Moon in there. That's one of those really scary ones. It's like you can either lose everything or, make $1 million off of 100. So, maybe that'll be the next one we put in. We'll put $50 worth of Safe Moon in there after this episode. And if you guys want to be entered into the drawing, please make sure you comment. And for each comment put in there, you'll have one chance at being entered into the next show's drawing to be entered into the long-term winnings. So congratulations, Josh. Any thoughts for Josh?
Oh, congrats, Josh. Thanks for commenting. We appreciate you being a fan, and stay tuned. So, more to come. We hope you're enjoying the show, and please give us your feedback if you see anywhere we can make any sort of improvement. So thanks for being a fan with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I want to put that out there. We've had a few, some people who are really consistently watching the show now. They've watched, the first few episodes. They've really enjoyed it. They've given feedback. So we just want to really say thank you again and express our gratitude for taking some time to listen to these two knuckleheads just kind of banter back and forth. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So last episode, we introduced some of the terms and common terms and definitions. Any of those sticking out as a memory, either maybe something that you knew before that you didn't really need an explanation, or something that just like, I still can't believe that's a real term?
Well, so mooning sticks out to me. It's not, it's not you pulling your pants down. In this context. It's when a cryptocurrency is moving up. It's mooning. It's growing significantly. Those, and then pump and dump. Pump and dump was something I'd heard of, but I really didn't quite understand it all that well. So I think it was good. It was a good introductory for me to start understanding some terms, understanding the TA, not the TNA.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah. And then whaling, not to be confused with a whale tail. Whaling. So I mean, it really is.
We just went like downhill fast, like.
Well, when you hear certain terms, so so getting to learn quite a bit. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for my next session here to ask some more questions, dig a little deeper.
Yeah. I think probably the best feedback that I think we're getting so far is they're really excited that you don't have a lot of experience in this space now. That seems to be where everybody's like, I really feel like I'm learning along with Adam. And so I think if we can continue to just take these stepping stones and build one on top of the other, obviously we're going to get you your first cryptocurrency, but I think people will be able to follow along and go, okay, I'm really glad that some of those hurdles that I was really scared of before, hopefully we'll explain those well enough that they'll be comfortable enough to make their first move into crypto as well.
Great.
Keeping in mind, not financial advisors, right?
No.
Two knuckleheads on the internet.
Yeah, just so we're trying to we're educating me, trying to educate you, and then in addition to that, we highly encourage you to do your own research on top of that. But so we're trying to help that be part of the kind of ecosystem of educating you and getting the word out about cryptocurrency and some new projects that are coming out.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, I think we can Probably time to transition and let you start asking your questions here in just about 15 seconds.
Roll it back. All right, all right.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
And we are back. So I guess now is the time. I think everybody's been waiting for this moment. Adam,
Yeah. Bated breath. Yeah,
bated
so
breaths, indeed.
I've got I hope everyone is in a very comfortable seat. I have about 200 questions I'm going to be asking. They're very in-depth questions. So this is probably going to take no longer than 10 hours.
They're all
So,
ABC multi-part questions, essay style.
Yep.
No multiple choice for sure.
No, it's going to be, you have to give multiple examples. I want it acted out. I would like for you to act out some scenarios.
Are you going to pick the charade style?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you some characters. So Tommy, okay. Susan, you're going to have to, as you're answering the question, you have to play in each one of these roles. So, so I understand. I'm someone that is a visual learner, and storytelling. So here is one of the best ways for people to comprehend.
No, I'm a natural Tommy. Like I instantly think to myself, get into character. Yeah.
No, I have about 5 questions that I'm going to ask. They're kind of top of mind, tip of tongue for me. And so the very first one, in the spirit of Michael Scott from The Office, if explain cryptocurrency to a 5-year-old, how would you explain cryptocurrency to a 5-year-old?
Okay, yeah, that's a great place to start. It's of course, Adam gave me these questions before we went live, but we didn't answer them. So, but it was right before. So I grabbed a few props because I want to give a few examples. So, cryptocurrency, very, very vast space, right? It's a very broad topic, and we could talk about cryptocurrency proper, or we could talk about some of the capabilities of additional layers and new generations of cryptocurrency. But for now, let's stick to the basic concept. What is a cryptocurrency? So a cryptocurrency is, for any better term, no better term, a digital money. Okay, so if I wanted to buy this pen right now from you, Adam, and we agreed that this crisp $10 bill, that pen was worth $10, you wanted to put that.
It's not, by the way. It's not worth $10. I would never pay that.
Well, we'll negotiate.
Okay.
We will negotiate. So good news, digital currencies and cryptocurrencies can be fractional. So we don't have to give you the whole $10 bill. We can actually, or, a piece of silver, big piece of silver, right? If we agree that those are worth something, in general, that's how currency is evaluated, right? So a money, your digital money, your $10 bill is only worth $10 today because you and I agree that this piece of paper is worth $10 and you are willing to accept it for $10 of your services or your goods, or in this case, this pen. You told me this pen's worth $10. I've agreed it's worth $10. I know, hey, it's your pen. You shouldn't be shaking your head. You're getting a great deal. But I'm willing to give you $10 for this because I think it's worth it. And so I am a sucker. Good thing you didn't put a puppy in front of me. I'd way overpay for that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so a cryptocurrency is also an agreement by people that it is worth whatever people decide it's worth. So just like the $10 bill, if you and I agree that Bitcoin is worth, one Bitcoin is worth $10, or in today's money, one Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, is worth $55,000, $57,000, whatever it's worth today. Yeah, it's worth a lot. One Bitcoin. if we agree that it's worth $57,000, well, it's really no different than agreeing that this is worth $10. Now, some people will argue, okay, well, there's it's backed by the government, whereas cryptocurrencies aren't necessarily backed. And that's one of the benefits. A lot of people that are pro cryptocurrency are pro decentralization. So taking some of that ability to manipulate the money supply away from central governments. But ultimately, at the end of the day, rather than being a physical piece of paper, cryptocurrency is a piece of code. It's a digital money that when I tell you that I'm willing to pay that $10 worth of Bitcoin to you, I have a digital wallet, you have a digital wallet. Very similar to a regular wallet in the place that it actually holds your money. But then I grab my phone and I beep boop boop boop, and I send you your $10 worth of Bitcoin. Or in fractional terms, Bitcoin is broken down into things like Satoshis, which are basically like the penny to the Bitcoin dollar. So that's the fractional piece. And I send you a number of Satoshis, and you, a few minutes later, are able to get a receipt automatically from the blockchain. And it says, Justin has sent you 100 Satoshis, and now you are going to deliver this pen to me. So it works just like money.
Okay. So if I before I move on to the next question, my 5-year-old self, right when you said what cryptocurrency is, ran off and started playing on the monkey bars. So great explanation. I don't know if it's hard to explain something that is somewhat complicated and break it down, but you did a great job. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
my next question.
I probably gave you more detail than you needed. Obviously, I do that a lot, though. Sorry, 5-year-olds, I lose them fast.
No, yeah. So that as a 5-year-old, I've got my hands in a cake over here. I'm not
digital money. It's digital money.
Money.
It's magic internet money.
I can buy toys with this magic money.
There you go.
This magic money allows you to buy the toys you want.
Yes.
So my next question is: I see a lot of things on TV, in news feeds about people making a lot of money. Some the price going up, the price going down. Is it safe? Would you say cryptocurrency is safe?
Yeah, another loaded question. It's safe-ish, right? And so I think there are some risks. Yeah, you have to be aware. It's 100% you have to be aware of the risks associated with cryptocurrency. So, the internet has been around, since, really the 80s, if you look way back at DARPANET or whatever. But realistically, it started getting used in the early to mid 90s for more public consumption. But when it was not very user friendly, right? You had to still maybe go into DOS and load up, your application, or your, an operating system, and then maybe you still had to get into a modem and put a specific IP address in there, and then dial direct connect. And so today, that's kind of the phase we're in with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, right? And so there are a lot of mistakes that can be made. There's a lot of scammers out there that are looking to take advantage of you making a mistake or trusting things. And so there's both the personal side that could introduce some risk, and then there's the market side that could also introduce risk in the fact that investing in cryptocurrency is inherently high risk, super high reward potential. But then with that comes the possibility that you could lose everything, right? So how do you mitigate? So yeah. So but it really comes down to risk mitigation, right? Like, where do you balance the risk? So if you stick to, ways you can reduce risk are to make sure that you never share passwords, make sure that you never, you never lose your passcodes. Yeah, you should be taking notes on this part. Never
Stop
lose
sharing.
your, yep. Don't lose your seed phrases. Don't share that stuff. Don't store it on a computer. Write it down on a notepad. Like, I mean, a physical, grab your notepad and write. Oh God, I didn't open to my password page.
I just saw.
It's too late.
Yep.
Um, and then, when you keep in the cybersecurity type stuff, like we just talked about, like physical security of your passwords and that type of stuff, but then you also can start to stick to some of the more well-known platforms, right? So
Sure.
if you use publicly traded companies like Coinbase, that
Mhm.
tends to, should theoretically be safer than something that, you just found on some random Reddit sub forum. And then also sticking to some of the much higher value coins. So Bitcoin is a much safer place to put your money for the long term than some of these brand new projects, especially the projects that you and I will be introducing, because we are going to be introducing the very first look at some of these projects, and some of them are going to go crazy, and they're going to become the next Bitcoin, the next Ethereum, the next Chainlink, and those are all major top 10 coins. And some of them are just going to be total duds, big stinkers that fall off the map and never even turn into anything.
Sure. So with anything, there's a level of risk. Even the stock market, there's some level of knowledge you would need to know to do well. You certainly want to mitigate your risk and diversify, right? That's something you hear with investing in general. So there's things that you could do. So okay, totally makes sense. And to acknowledge something, I wasn't texting just a moment ago. My questions are on my phone, and my phone it locked. So it's like,
cool, man.
I'm like texting. Yeah, this sounds interesting.
Yeah. If you're not interested, this is just like
what time is this show ending? I'm almost done.
couldn't
I'm
happen
gonna go to lunch in
enough.
10 minutes.
Not soon enough, I can tell you that.
No, so I didn't, I didn't write my questions down on a notepad, which I should have done. But my phone locked in mid sentence. So my next question. So I apologize for that. When you
Carbon footprint. You're being very eco-friendly by putting it on your phone. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah. So my next question is going to be: what about some? How do you invest in crypto? So if I'm interested, okay, I'm interested in investing in cryptocurrency. I can't just go to the bank. I can't go down to my local bank and say, "Hey, Barbara, I want to invest in cryptocurrency." She's going to look at me sideways. What do I do to make an investment? Is this something that I could go to a known, like a Fidelity, to do something like that? Do I have to go to download certain apps? Do I have to have multiple apps? Is it like the Matrix where I've got all these different applications open? How do you invest? What's your thoughts on that and recommendation on first time investors?
Yeah, so I think the answer is yes to all of that, right? So I'm absolutely correct. You can't just go to the bank and buy some today. However, there are some banks that are starting to come around and potentially offer that. I think in Wyoming right now, Kraken is applying for a bank charter there, which is interesting. They can actually do custodial banking and holding your cryptocurrencies. However, today, not very realistic. And so there's a few different ways to buy. Actually, there's many, many different ways to buy cryptocurrencies. I'll give you kind of a really quick high level overview of all the different places, and then probably give like one or two recommendations for places to start. Is that
perfect?
A good place? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So there are I always recommend, and again, I hate that we always have to preface with this. This is just silly, but just a knucklehead on YouTube, not financial advice. But when my friends and family come to me and ask me how to get started, I always suggest start with Bitcoin. It's the easiest one to get. It's the one that's most readily available. It's the safest. And it can be transferred or transitioned into other cryptocurrencies when you need it the easiest. So I always suggest starting with Bitcoin. It's the daddy, the granddaddy, the king of all Bitcoin, of all cryptocurrencies. And so how do you buy it? So there's like a few different ways. You can buy them through what's called a centralized exchange, which are things like Coinbase and Voyager. And these are essentially apps that are on your phone or websites that you can access on the regular internet.
So I could essentially could I go to the App Store or the Play Store and download them? I could go, like if I have an Apple iPhone, I could just go and download the app. Just search for it, download it. Okay.
Yep, that's absolutely. And for everybody to keep in mind, if you're not comfortable doing that yet, like, I mean, we can have this conversation, and it is easy enough once you get the nerve to actually pull the trigger and start putting it in, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, they're asking me for a picture of my driver's license and my social security number. All that's normal. So if you go to the App Store and you download Voyager, or you download Binance.us, or you download Coinbase, signing up for those is a process. That process can take anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks. And so they have to do, in cryptocurrency, there's a kind of like a legislation that you have to follow, AML and KYC verification. AML is anti-money laundering, and KYC is know your customer. And so basically what they want to do is verify that if you are buying and purchasing and trading cryptocurrencies on a centralized exchange, like the ones we just mentioned, that they know who you are, and they, Uncle Sam wants his share, and that's how they account for you having to pay taxes, right? So they want to make sure you know that. And also some of the fraud things, right? We mentioned, is it safe? Well, there's fraud, there's some plenty of scams out there. And then sometimes you'll hear FUD about, oh, well, cryptocurrencies are only, do you remember FUD?
I do remember FUD. I can't remember off the top of my head what the acronym stands for.
Yeah, fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yes.
And so,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I apologize for
you're correct.
Running over topic. Thank you. Thank you.
That was my test.
It was. Thank you. I passed finally. So sometimes the market will get crowded with FUD, and there will be something that comes down. Janet Yellen is somebody who is the new head of the Treasury for Joe Biden. And at one point, she had mentioned that, well, it's only used for, by drug smugglers and criminals. Well, realistically, that's really hard to do, or it's actually a much easier way to get caught if you're doing bad stuff, because the blockchain tracks exactly your IP address. I mean, it knows exactly where the transaction went and who it went to. So it's actually very easy to trace back along the path. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they have to have the KYC and AML verification to know who you are, and they can, have a picture of you, all that kind of stuff. So a centralized exchange is one of the ways to buy Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency. And then you get into exponentially more challenging and difficult ways to buy them. That's the easiest way. It's almost like starting up an account on Robinhood, or any other trading site, and then you put a little money in there, and then you can buy your cryptocurrencies. You could go through, get a wallet, a hardware wallet or a software wallet, and then work through a decentralized exchange rather than the centralized. But those are lessons definitely in a conversation for another day.
Sure. So can you give maybe one app that you would say, here's where I would start, the name of the app?
Yeah, I would probably, I'll give 3 because they're all equal. Well, I'll just start with one, Voyager.
Voyager? Okay.
Voyager,
I can just go to the App Store and download it. Okay.
Yep.
And then expect
a few days.
Okay. And expect that it's going to ask somewhat what I would consider intrusive questions, but that is to make sure I'm who I say I am. And, we're able to, I can set up an account and probably I'd imagine I'm able to connect it to either a checking account or some type of debit card account or something that I could transfer funds into the account.
Yep, exactly. They're going to ask for your bank account information, and you'll set that up, and then you can transfer a certain amount per day. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, great. And if you could
We-
give me your bank account information, I can do this for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to do this with your own money. That's crazy.
Yeah, if you could. No, great. So my next questions, so this is kind of a two-part question,
Okay.
is so what are some pros with cryptocurrency that you see kind of coming? Because it really seems like it's heading to what might be kind of the future of banking, essentially. Could take some time. And then what about some cons? So what are some things that you're seeing? You mentioned there could be some fraud out there. There are some duds, that, you think, hey, this is going to be this one's going to take off and go places, and it's a dud. What are some of your, let's just say, top two pros, if you can think of it, and top two cons that you think, folks should be aware of, or at least think about before, getting involved in cryptocurrency?
Okay. Yeah. I think probably, I'll give two pros to start with, and then one of the pros I have to break down just a hair more. But the biggest pro in my mind is the blockchain technology itself. And so cryptocurrency kind of misleading in the fact that there are a few that are cryptocurrencies, but the blockchain technology has kind of limitless uses. It can be used for inventory management, like say, for example, you are a store that makes smoothies, but you want to be a fully organic store. You could create a supply chain that says, okay, I received kale from, Kale Growers of America, and in the blockchain, Kale Growers of America could say, okay, well, we have these particular seeds, we use this particular insecticide and this particular fertilizer, and you can verify that all three of those are completely organic, right? And then when they send the kale to you, you've now got a 100% verified organic product. And then you get your peaches and your bananas and your apples and your, stevia and all of that. And then you can actually, with 100% confidence, say, I am selling, everybody that buys from me is getting a 100% organic smoothie today. So the blockchain technology is what allows that to happen. So I think the technology is really, really powerful technology. So I think that's the number one biggest pro, and I think it has limitless use cases. And then the second pro is probably related to the technology, but I think the decentralization concept of blockchain, to where both verification and validation of transactions is no longer tied at just the very, very top level of a company or of society, but to where everybody can validate even further. So there's a little bit of utopian idolization, I think, in there, but I think there's some reality that some of it can be fully realized.
Okay. What about cons? What are some things two things you say, watch out for, if you can think of, two, watch out for, here's some things that you've seen that could be potentially negative. Is it, over-regulation? Is it not regulating at all? Is it kind of the Wild West? What do you kind of see as a couple cons that, folks should just be kind of aware of?
Yeah, I would start actually right there is 100% where I would start. It is the Wild West. There's currently no regulation, and regulations are coming. And regulation will provide a lot of value as well. It'll stabilize the market. It will provide confidence to people who were previously sitting there going, there's no way I would ever touch this stuff. No way I would ever invest in it. There's no regulation. So With that, sometimes, most of the time, the intent behind regulation is good, right? And so who knows where it will go? And so I think that's one of the fears, maybe not a con, but a fear, that could spook the market a little bit as well when that happens. So it will have an impact on values and the price of particular coins and tokens as well.
Sure.
So yeah, that's definitely a con. The other con, and this is just a little bit of fear on my side, I guess, is something that I think about, is everything is fully traceable, and maybe at some point it becomes too big brotherish. In the fact that, like I said, every transaction can be, if I buy a pack of gum from you, it's on the blockchain. It's fully visible. Everybody's going to know that I transferred, 25 cents to you at any given point. So,
Sure.
yeah, those are the top two. There's lots more pros, lots more cons. But again, we've got, maybe 500-600 more shows ahead of us. So plenty of time to talk about it.
Yeah, for the sake of time. Yeah, interesting. I definitely have thought about the regulation part, both being good and potentially bad in terms of over-regulating and it not being kind of less innovative, I suppose. And the other is interesting in terms of tracking. I hadn't really thought too much about it because I don't carry cash anymore. It's kind of a rarity for me to carry cash. And that, outside of me being video camera inside a store, is like a way of you not, maybe being, there being traceability. So if I have like a debit card or credit card and I use that, you could easily follow that loop to me, right? So,
yeah.
Even to purchase here. So, very interesting. So my next question, and I didn't fully vet it out. I think I missed it in. I know what I meant. My question says, in full transparency, is who is crypto? As if it's some sort of superhero.
It is who is Kaiser Sensei?
Who is it? Who is crypto? Who is Mr. Crypto? No, my question, what I meant to write was, who is crypto for? So, and where I'm thinking in that question is, where do you have to be at in kind of your invested life, right? So is it good to have some of your, and we're not financial advisors, but just me kind of thinking, do you have kind of all of your things situated in terms of your, life, you're paying all of your bills, you've got some reserves, and maybe, you're dabbling in cryptocurrency with some extra money versus I'm just going to go all in 401 Patooey. Cryptocurrency, or hey, I've sunset my career, I've retired, I have a nest egg, let me just go in on that, and hopefully things work out and I don't have to go back to work. Who is it kind of for? Is it for kind of anyone? And with the asterisk of as long as you feel comfortable, and you what kind of knowledge would you need to have? What's kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
broad question, I know.
Yeah, super broad, right? But I'll try to narrow down on just a few things there. I think crypto is for everyone, but it's a matter of how much crypto is right for any given person, right?
Sure.
So I think everybody should have some exposure to crypto if you have any disposable income at all, or if you're saving money, a fraction of that should go into cryptocurrency. And the reason I say that is, if you want, and I don't want to get too political, right? But there's a lot of money printing going on, and the U.S. is the leading currency in the world, and there's no way to print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars and not face inflation. And so the value of the dollar is going to continue to drop and drop and drop. And that's, some of that was out of necessity. Some of it is out of, I won't get into, like I said, I don't want to get political, but a lot of people in the crypto space consider crypto a hedge against inflation. And Bitcoin is one of the safer. Ethereum is one of the safer. These are, kind of the two largest. And then there's a handful of top 10 coins that really give you a good opportunity to hedge against the lowering, diminishing value of the dollar bill. And so, how certainly have to keep in mind, your tolerance for risk. You have to keep in mind your timeline for retirement. You have to keep in mind, what you believe about fiscal policy. So, whether inflation is going to have a big impact or a little impact. And then, of course, how much you know about the technology and how much you want to learn about the technology. So, this is just me, for example, and 5 years ago, this would have been completely different for me. But, I have a 401k. If it weren't for my 401k or the restrictions to access my 401k, I would probably be 100% in crypto right now. But I have a really high risk tolerance. I definitely am a, no risk, no reward kind of guy. So as of right now, I'm probably about 50-50 in between, well, it's probably like 30-30-30. So, and I think this is probably a wise place to be. 30% in stocks and retirement accounts, 30% in real estate, and 30% in crypto. And just, for disclosure, people who don't know me personally, I'm 42 years old. My wife's a real estate agent. Yeah, I know. I'm old
I didn't know.
or young.
I thought I knew. I thought I knew you. I don't. It's like I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah, I should change it to Coin Master Grandpa for you. Yeah. So I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I have a little more disposable income, and I have the ability to put more into this. I do think it's a full hedge against inflation. I believe that we are in the middle of what everybody is calling an altcoin cycle or a Bitcoin super cycle, meaning that there's some expectations over the next few months towards the end of the year for there to be some significant gains, like massive gains to be made in the market. Again, that's, I've learned most of what I know between reading articles and doing research and lots and lots and lots and lots of YouTube. And so that's just the sentiment, the feeling I'm getting kind of across the industry, that the next few months are going to be really big returns. So I do think it's for anyone. I think it really comes down to it is for everyone, but different for everyone. So how much knowledge do you have? Do you have somebody who can guide you through? Are you keeping in mind any of the cybersecurity risks and your competence level in dealing with those? So yeah, lots, but yeah, for everyone. I think everybody should have some.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things I keyed in on was, your example, and kind of I've heard for years and years you kind of have a diverse portfolio. So, you have things in real estate and your 401k retirement account and in Bitcoin, and that, so this way you're really hedging all your bets. In that, you have some options to where you could go up or down in any one of those particular areas, to where you could invest more in Bitcoin as the time goes on, comfortable, or in real estate. It's a real estate boom here in Florida. So no, great. So those were my questions for today. So I learned quite a bit.
Excellent.
I have more questions in my back pocket, but I wanted to spoon feed those to myself and the viewers so I can remember. I think part of what we chatted that last show is it's one thing to be told something, it's another to remember it, and there's retention. So yeah, I learned something at that moment, but did I retain it? So I think it's good. Just let's spoon feed these things. And then we'll come back and I'll be smarter the next show. So thank you for that. And those were my Adam asked questions for this episode.
I love it. And I think for anybody watching, we've kind of structured this so that you can start from, the noob. You can be the noob and learn a little bit about us, then learn a little bit about, the words used in the industry, and then get some questions asked and answered. And then next series after this, we've got another episode, maybe 2 of Adam Ask, and then we'll roll into kind of a more instructional, like, hey, it's my first day in crypto, now what? And that's when I think you'll be buying your first cryptocurrency. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have any questions you want Adam to ask, please put it in the comments below. Make sure that you share this with all of your friends, especially if they're new to the industry or they want to learn just a little bit about the crypto space. Make sure you gently boop, boop, boop that like and that subscribe button. And I think that's it today for Pump Your Coin. Anything else, Adam, before we say goodbye?
No, thank you. Great session. Thank you to all of our subscribers and viewers for your support. And I hope you learned something today like I did. I'm going to keep the noob title until I feel as if I can, be named with my actual name, or we'll come up with some new name for myself. But I hope you all are learning along with me, and you now are smarter than you were when you first started watching the video on cryptocurrency.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.
I don't know if it's just on my end. Let me take a picture of this. This is good. Oh, your power went out. Oh, bummer.
No. Hey.
What happened?
Oh, come on. That sucks, man. All right, let's see if I can get it back up and running. I was coming out to see what happened. The power went out.
Oh, crap.
There's nothing going on. Like, it's the most gorgeous day.
Well, I don't know if maybe I'm the first to tell you this, but if you don't pay your power bill, they'll turn it off.
Oh my gosh, this is so goodness gracious. Yeah, my internet's not up there.
Your screen froze, so it was on one screen. I'm sure this is still recording, so you'll get to probably stop. I can leave studio, I guess. I probably should just leave the studio.